one.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Pinche Gringo Show. We have a great program for you tonight. We have the toughest and possibly the strongest guest we've ever had on the show. Well, maybe the ambassador came with the toughest jacket we've ever had. Hashtag ambassador jacket. Am I ever going to make that hashtag famous? And Economic Secretary Ildefonso Guajardo probably had the toughest economic policy. But tonight's guest is two-time UFC World Heavyweight Champion Cain Velasquez, who's said by some to be the greatest mixed martial arts fighter of all time. But we're going to get to know a little bit more about the softer side, the pussycat of Cain. He's an amazing guy, so please stay with us. First, talk about what in a rapidly developing story is becoming a great threat to the safety and stability in the United States. It may become more catastrophic than COVID, more difficult than the crumbling economy, and worse than eating 10 bags of red panditas, because trust me, the red ones are like 3 times better than the rest. Green, wakala. Seriously, we need to talk about the increasing unrest in the United States and the possibility that this can get much worse very, very quickly and lead to a widespread conflict. This has become a fierce battle between the left and the right-wing ideologies, clashing right before the 2020 election. This conflict isn't new. It's been happening in the history of civil society. Basically, those who believe in equality and fairness versus those who stand for individual liberty and free will. Others have portrayed this conflict as a changing and more diverse population of mixed races, colors, genders, and immigrants versus straight white males and their white wives who are defending their dominance over American society that has lasted for the 243-year history of the United States. This is the picture. But what is happening today has everything to do with this conflict. Remember the shooting of George Floyd earlier this summer, compounded by the shooting of other Black men and women by law enforcement agents? Last week, a Black man named Jacob Blake was shot 7 times in the back after an altercation with the police in Kenosha, Wisconsin, where he held a knife in his hand. Some saying the shooting was warranted and there was a major threat to the safety of the police, while for others it was just another example of the police using excessive force on someone just because he or she is Black. Then 2 days later, while protests raged in the city, a white 17-year-old named Kyle Rittenhouse shot 2 people dead on the street. Leftists said that the president and many on the right were glorifying hatred and that this teenager was influenced by their rhetoric, while those on the right say that we have a right to bear arms and that he was only acting in self-defense. Mexico, I know this is really scary and unbelievable, but in Wisconsin, their laws permit you to carry a gun in the open. Although, to be fair, children under 18 are not allowed to carry weapons in public. And I'm sure someone from the National Rifle Association is like, how are we not allowing a 12-year-old to hold a gun? That's ridiculous. What will happen to poor Johnny if he's walking home from school alone at night and a bad guy drives up in an ice cream truck giving out free snow cones? How will Johnny defend himself without a gun? So tensions are rising, especially in cities like Kenosha and Portland, Oregon, where protests are continuing. So today, a United States congressman, someone who is currently in elected office, serving the people of his congressional district, said this: America is being manipulated into a new era of government control. Your liberty is threatened from within. Welcome to the front lines, ladies and gentlemen. I suggest you get your mind right. I'll advise when it's time to gear up, mount up, and roll out. Now, gear up isn't what your best friend from Secundaria says to you at 3 a.m. at any Mexican wing. Gear up, Dan. Don't pass out. Take that foam hat they're passing out. Dance to Luis Miguel and make sure you survive into the chilaquiles. I mean, I wish it wasn't that. I wish it meant that. But this congressman means is to get your guns. And trust me, the people that he's talking to have guns. They're well armed. Now, of course, the right and the left have their candidates in the upcoming election. The left supporting Joe Biden and the right standing by their man, President Trump. The Democrats had their turn to present their arguments, and the Republicans took their turn in their convention last week, and they had this to say.
Don't let the Democrats take you for granted.
Don't let them step on you. Don't let them destroy your families, your lives, and your future. Don't let them kill future generations because they told you and brainwashed you and fed you lies that you weren't good enough.
Democrats, brainwashed. That was Kimberly Guilfoyle, Trump's son's girlfriend, or how Mexicans call it, nuera. Because even if you've just been dating someone for a month or even a week, you are now a nuera. You're part of the family. Doesn't matter how long you've been dating. But really making it certain that Democrats will destroy your lives. She got louder and more passionate as the speech went on.
Ladies and gentlemen, leaders and fighters for freedom and liberty and the American dream, the best is yet to come.
The best is, really? But who stole the show was Mark and Patricia McCloskey. And these guys were famous in pointing their guns at protesters on their front lawns in a Missouri suburb during a recent Black Lives Matter protest, claiming that they were just protecting their home.
These radicals are not content with marching in the streets. They want to walk the halls of Congress. They want to take over. They want power. This is Joe Biden's party. These are the people who will be in charge of your future and the future of your children.
They're not satisfied with spreading the chaos and violence into our communities. They want to abolish the suburbs altogether.
Abolish the suburbs. Now listen, if someone came up to me and had a good idea to abolish the suburbs of Coapa or Satélite, the Mexico City suburbs altogether, maybe I'd listen. But really, this is really strong rhetoric. And then Trump's wife, Melania, came and joined the program on Tuesday night. Looked like she just auditioned for a part in a Fidel Castro biopic. Then on Thursday night, it was Trump's turn. And I want to just offer you a very honest, unbiased look at both sides. But first, I got to tell you, he did this speech in front of the White House. This was unprecedented because by law, federal government employees are not allowed to be involved while they're on official duty in campaigns. Mexican law makes this very clear. And until this week, U.S. law has done the same. But he set this right up on the South Lawn of the White House. And also, if he's honest, then okay, we can consider a different opinion about how to govern. Trump versus Biden, we can talk about it. But this speech was full of lies and distortions and was dark to scare people of a potential Joe Biden presidency.
The Biden plan would eliminate America's borders in the middle of a global pandemic. And he's even talking about taking the wall down. How about that? Biden is a Trojan horse for socialism, immediately releasing 400,000 criminals onto the streets and into your neighborhoods. The left will defund police departments all across America. No one will be safe in Biden's America.
First of all, how many American flags do you need to show that you're patriotic? I think there's like 942 flags back there. And also, if you're listening to Trump, you better hide your kids and hide your wife from Joe Biden, right? Do you see this pattern? Their convention was extremely dark. And it seems that their strategy is to scare the living daylights out of white suburban voters, especially focusing on women, that people who don't look like them are going to invade their neighborhoods, force them to speak other languages. And the worst thing that somebody can do, force you to eat your tacos with soft corn tortillas instead of the American favorite crispy taco shells with American cheese and lettuce. Que horror. So we think, okay, maybe this is just due to the upcoming election. And when the election is over, everything will calm down and the U.S. will return to normal. Unfortunately, that is getting less likely every day because the president of the United States is actively questioning the legitimacy of the election that his own government oversees, saying that because Americans can now mail in their vote due to COVID, there will be massive fraud. So to sum it all up, if Trump wins, a lot of people and probably the world will be very mad and will almost absolutely question the results, that there was some sort of fraud with Russians, with voter disenfranchisement, while Trump supporters will join the president in his rhetoric and force to delegitimize the election results with accusations of voter fraud and illegal votes. And many of these guys are heavily armed. If not, they can just go to a Walmart and buy a semi-automatic rifle in minutes. So Mexico, I'm a bit worried, and you should be too, because we know that what happens in the United States always has an effect on Mexico. It just seems like a powder keg is waiting to explode. But there is hope. Hope that Americans make the best decisions and make sure to put people in power that are able to unify the country and diffuse the tension. So stay tuned, because we may be witnessing the start of something far more worse than COVID-19. And I hate to say it, and I don't think it's going to happen, but there could possibly be a civil war. Yes, please. Uber announced this week that they will require some riders to take a photo before their ride to ensure their mask is on if a driver had previously reported that a rider was not wearing their mask in the car. Hey, cool, said every Gen Xer. I get to take a selfie. And I'm actually relieved that it's that, and it's not based on your Uber score, because I don't get it. My score is 4.54. I don't get what have I done to the drivers? I bring them flowers. I bake them cookies. I buy them dessert. And even invited you to my 4th of July party with the Nissan Sentra license plate GBE454. You told me you were going to be giving me a 5. And you did. But no 2020 news program is complete without the mention of our favorite topic, COVID-19. And for many Americans watching, it's important to hear the truth. I'm tired of the phone calls from the US. Danny, I saw on TV that everybody's dying in Mexico. The truth is, yes, Mexico is number 4 in the world in the number of deaths. And I just want to take a special thanks to India. Well, not thank you, but I'm sad that India surpassed us. So India is number 3. Now we're number 4. Like top 3 is really shitty, right? You don't want to be in the top 3. 4 is a little less shitty. But however, there's some good news that things appear to be starting to improve for now. The Mexican government on Friday announced that the changing of the COVID-19 street light system in 9 states from orange to yellow light, meaning the virus is still around, but you can go to a bar, you can go to a stadium, you can go to a plaza to celebrate your favorite patron saint. My favorite's Christopher, by the way. I'm a fast driver, so I love Christopher. But if you want, you can go to Sonora now, where you can see a couple of deserts, have a big fat cowboy steak, and maybe some baseball. Or you can check out Oaxaca, where the best cheese is just called cheese. You can go to Tlaxcala now, when 1 minute you're in Semáforo Amarillo, and then the next you're back in Puebla and it's orange again. And finally, our beautiful state of Tamaulipas. So great. Tomorrow, to get out of this crazy orange light situation, I'm going to fly to Ciudad Victoria and spend the weekend in its vibrant nightlife and bar scene. Wait, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm sorry. It's so safe. But go to Victoria if you can, because they're in a yellow light situation. But in the really good news, I've been going to one of the all COVID hospitals since April to deliver sandwiches. And every week I've asked one of the volunteers who received the sandwiches how things are going every time things were getting worse. But this is what she said last week.
Creo que tiene que ver también con que los médicos saben tratar mejor, ya saben a lo que se enfrentan, sabemos manejar mejor a los pacientes, aunque sí habíamos muchos contactos, pero se está manejando de mejor manera.
This is great news, right? Like the hospitals aren't so crowded, things are going down, things are quieting down a little. But what is most interesting is that people have started to buy massive amount of plants in the city. Months ago, it was toilet paper and disinfectant, but now people in the nation's capital are going nuts and buying houseplants in massive numbers, and they're calling it biophilia, which is causing long lines in nurseries all over the city. In Colombia, for example, there is a massive rage for sex toys. So hot, Colombia, just thinking about Colombia buying sex toys. And in Belgium, the government urged its citizens last week to buy more French fries to support the nation's potato farmers. By the way, the Belgians claim to be the ones who invented French fries, but the American soldiers who discovered them thought they were actually in France and not in Belgium. So, ladies and gentlemen, just another example of gringos screwing up geography to alter world history. For example, as a representative of Pinche Gringos in Mexico, I want to apologize to Spain for calling it the Spanish flu. And I want to apologize to the entire North, South, and Central America for calling Americans Americans. But let's get to what probably most of you are waiting for tonight. we have with us tonight on this show UFC fighter Cain Velasquez. Cain started out in collegiate wrestling, then to MMA, rising quickly in the ranks until he won his 2 heavyweight championships. He was born in Salinas, California, but his dad is from Sinaloa. And Cain has emerged as an important figure in not only the Mexican-American community, but also followed and loved by many here in Mexico. He retired from UFC last year and started getting involved in our favorite pastime, lucha libre. So our Pinche Gringo Show correspondent, Javier Negrete, went around Mexico City to see if he could find somebody that can challenge Cain in a fight. Let's see what he came up with.
We are in Mexico City, aka Chilangoland. This time we have a super special guest on the show. So we're here to find how good are throwing punches and that stuff. So this is why my friend Casey is right next to me.
Hi.
So come to see. So Casey, what do you think about the results?
I would say that the people of Mexico City have good intentions and a lot of heart, and that's what matters.
Thanks for seeing. See you next week.
All right. Well, joining us live on the show right now, we welcome Cain Velasquez. Cain, how are you doing? This is amazing.
Doing great. How you doing?
Such an honor. It's so incredible. Listen, we went out into Mexico City to try to find someone to challenge you in a UFC fight. We went to the park and we couldn't find anybody. I don't know. I mean,
Keep looking. There's people out there. Don't worry.
did anybody have any potential or no?
Yeah, the girl holding pads was good.
She was good. Yeah, I think she was the
That
teacher. Maybe we can schedule, right? One of those
Well,
first.
that was the
things.
best one that I saw. But I mean, there's people there. There's people in Mexico City that have the heart, that have the fight in them. I know. They're out there.
Absolutely. So Cain, just a question that Mexico City has a really deep fighting culture, no? I mean, there's a lot of people, especially in boxing. Has that made the transition to UFC? Are there some pretty good fighters out there?
Yeah, there are definitely. It's a sport that's obviously always growing, but especially in Mexico. I would say people or guys that are looking to go out there and fight versus guys and girls are looking to not just box, but they're also looking at the UFC as a way to go out and kind of showcase, their fighting skills. And it's just very cool that you can have an organization like the UFC that you can showcase everything. You can showcase the boxing, the karate, the wrestling. It's about being the best overall fighter, right? And I think people that are going into it, that are practicing, like in this whole fight game, they want to go out there and prove that they are the best, that they are the most well-rounded, and it's very cool that we have a platform to do that in.
Tell me about this, Cain, because you are Mexican American. You are from the U.S., as I mentioned in the opening segment. Your dad is from Sinaloa, but you were born here. Your mom was born here. So, when you were fighting in UFC, like, who are you representing? Like, did you just have an incredible cadre of Mexican Americans, Chicanos from California, like supporting you? What was it like to wear the banner of being both Mexican and American in the ring?
Yeah. Well, my dad's from Sonora.
Sonora, perdón.
And you know what? For me, I guess it was always been in me from a young age, just like it is like a lot of other Mexican fighters and boxers out there. It's about having that same style of fighting, right? It's a unique style of fighting that is known as the Mexican way of fighting, and that's going forward and just kind of showing like how big, you're pretty much showing how big your balls are, right? You're going out there. It's a very physical type of fighting. It's very exciting. I would say people like that style of fighting the most, and That's why Mexicans are most famous for their boxing skills, because they go out there and they throw down, man. So for me, it was always been just a thing of just knowing that I could do that and knowing that I had that in me to do that. Not everybody can fight that way. It's a very hard and scary way of fighting. That's why you don't see a lot of people do it in that way. Going forward, always trying to go forward with pressure, always trying to go forward with punching and kicking pressure. You just don't see that. So it's a thing that I would say it's instilled in a lot of Mexican people in general. It's in us. We work hard. We're very passionate. We fight for our lives. So it's kind of the same way, just translating it to the fight game.
Sure. There's not there should be more Mexican Americans that are coming out on TV and doing great things and being leaders in the community. So how does that affect what you do every day, knowing that there's a lot of people, a lot of Chicanos, right, in California that really look up to you as a role model?
For me, it's just a great feeling, that like I just feel really blessed to be in that position, and I don't even know how that happened. It was just more of the hard work and the sports and everything that brought me out there. But I just live my life in the way that I want, and if it's a great example to people, then so be it. And I love being that person. Like I'll do it to the best of my ability forever. It's just like you said, there isn't a lot of us doing it. For whatever reason, maybe people don't believe that they can, but everyone can. We all could do it. So again, just feel really blessed, and man, we're gonna continue to do this, baby. Keep going up and up, and continue to do this, and continue to do great things in this world. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, Cain, you made transition to doing things in lucha libre. And of course, lucha libre is a Mexican institution. It's a pastime. It's something that Mexicans are very proud of. How was that transition, and what was your experience in getting involved in that?
My transition, my experience was just it was a very quick ride to doing the first show that I did for Triple Mania, for AAA. It was just almost like more so like a lifelong dream that I've had to do that, as a kid, being a fan, and then finally getting the opportunity to go and wrestle for AAA. It was more of like something that I had to check off my list more so. But in doing so, in the short time that I did that first match, it just opened my eyes to it. It was almost like I thought I knew what it was. And as I started training, I trained with when Psycho Clown really brought me in and really just showed me the way, you know what I mean? It opened my eyes to how great the sport is, how passionate people feel about it, the history about it. I almost didn't know going in, but just the whole experience and just all the different guys and all the different characters that they play and they get who the guys are. It's just there's so much talent that these guys have. It's incredible, and girls as well.
I mean, it's an art form. You had to practice. I remember when you were here a couple of months ago, you really needed to train for this. What are the different elements of lucha libre that you needed to learn to make that transition?
Well, it's more so of just being in the moment, I guess, and in a different way. In the fight game, we're obviously not practicing. We're not working with someone to make something great. It's more so, yes, there's somebody there, but we're on our own path in that moment. We're doing our own thing. We're trying to, disguise everything that we're doing, and whether it be knockouts or takedowns or anything else like that goes, we have to be in our own mindset, our own state of mind, that nothing is going to stop us. And I would say in the lucha world, like we're working with people, we're working with great athletes as well to create something great for the fans. So, and also just being out there in the ring, it's like you need to really acknowledge the fans and almost feed off of what they're doing, off of what they're cheering for. So just being in the moment for each little thing, whether as in the MMA world, let's say we throw some good combinations, and we're right to the next one, to get what we want, and that's the knockout or the win. But in lucha, it's more like you do a move, you hear the fans, and you're almost just take that moment in, celebrate that moment, because that's when the people are up. They're screaming, they're yelling, and you want to feed off of that. So in that moment, that's when you're kind of feeding off of it, and yeah, man, just giving the people a great show, working with someone one-on-one.
Right, absolutely. Now, Cain, you came to Mexico City for your first contest, and I know you did some things before that. What was it like coming to Mexico City for the first time, and what have you learned about this city through your experience and being here?
So going to Mexico City my first time, I was there promoting the UFC in general. I didn't have a fight. It was more so just to promote the UFC as a sport to different TV outlets, right? So it was me, Efrain Escudero also went with me, and we went to like every TV and news station that we could go to promote the UFC. At that time, it was very much thought as vale tudo, which is like everything goes, like type of sport, like pretty much a street fight type of thing. And me and him were almost like the pioneers of telling, educating the people of Mexico City to tell them, no, it's like this isn't anything goes. This is a legitimate sport. We do have rules and regulations, and we're very much so like top athletes in this type of combat. So a lot of it was education. And going in, I definitely felt very much so like an outsider talking to a lot of people there, especially like a lot of the media people. Well, obviously, right? I mean, I'm from the US and everything else like that. But in my heart, like it's something else that I felt. I felt very much connected to the people already from a young age, from my parents. So that to me was just something different. But going there, the education, type of thing, and for sure, feeling like an outsider was definitely different, and as the people got to know me, and as they got to see my career and what I was about, and that I was just very truthful, to myself and to everybody else. Like, this is how I feel. I feel very connected to Mexico and the people there, and I just kept doing that and saying that, and before I fought. As I walked out to fight, I carried the bandana on my fist, to represent like everybody is with me. Everybody Mexican is with me. We're all throwing the same punch together type of thing. I always had the Mexican colors with me. So with that, it almost like turned people's, thought of me around in a very positive way, in a way that I wanted people to see me. So right. Now going to Mexico City, it's my favorite city to be in. It is, from everything from the culture, the food, just the people. I love it there. I do. I love to visit there.
Right? It's pretty amazing. And we did we had an event last year for the NFL, and a lot of Chargers fans came in, and a lot of Chiefs and they're Mexican American, but had never thought about going to Mexico. Thought it was terrifying for them to be there. When they got there, realized that something about being homeland, like my patria, and people just were thrilled to realize that there weren't people on the street with guns, like waiting to like kidnap them or shoot them. And just like crazy things people have in their mind, and realizing that it's a wonderful, beautiful, safe city. And I know by you being here and all of your followers and all the people, it really means a lot to people. And I think that's wonderful. We have about 1 minute left. And what I'd like to ask you is what's next? Like what's cooking? I know we're in COVID times and everything's paused, but you got some cool things happening, no?
I do. There's some great things that I really have been working on myself, and just things that I've seen throughout my career that I really wanted to put into making things happen. I'm working on a bunch of different stuff right now. I've been a fan of racing ever since I was a kid, so I'm thinking I'm doing a show right now where we'll get different people to come in and race against each other in the same car. So it's more of a time trial type thing. I want to do something more with lucha, and that's more of a thing that's very. I'm gonna keep that on the hush right now, but pretty soon I think people will think it's very cool. But I'm doing something with lucha as well. So whether I come back wrestling or doing something even different, with that, that's my big project that I really want to showcase to the world.
That's great. Well, we hope you come down to Mexico more. Cain, as I said before, I think you're an inspiration to many Mexicans here in Mexico, because I know that when you come to the restaurant, my team's gone nuts. When seeing you there, they were so excited to have you on the show tonight, and we're looking forward to having you here soon. So sorry for the technical difficulties, but we have Cain Velasquez here, two-time UFC champion at the Pinche Gringo Show. It's been amazing. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you to everybody, todos que están ahí en la Ciudad de México. Muchísimas gracias por todo el apoyo, y pues vamos a subir arriba. Vamos a ir. Thank you very much,
thanks,
Dan.
All right. And let's go now to the lovely, laughing, luxurious, any L's that I can possibly find for the Laila Garcia Mora, our Pinche Gringo Show correspondent and also a commercial director for Pinche Gringo Barbecue. Laila, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? You're going to love this. I've been so excited for like half an hour smelling this, but we've got special for September. Fred Flintstone's going to love it. Oh my goodness, it falls right off the bone on TV.
That's how we do the ribs.
Beef ribs, baby. Talk about this beautiful, luscious, this delicious meat, Laila.
Perfectly cooked, perfectly smoked beef ribs. And we have this available just for September. So we are at the beginning of the month. You have time to run to your nearest Pinche Gringo and buy 1 or 2 or 10 of this. How is it, Dan?
It's delicious, but why is it so good? Like, what's up?
Because it's a Pinche Gringo recipe, because it's an artisanal made beef rib, and we smoke this from 8 to 10 hours in our black torpedoes. And we do this just once a year because, as we say in Mexico, de lo bueno poco. And if you had more bones like that, you would be a threat to society.
Dogs would love it. Like the pork rib bones are too small, and I'm always afraid the dogs are going to choke. But these are big.
Yes.
Okay, so all of September, you can get beef ribs from Pinche Gringo Barbecue. We have people all over the place, right? It's like the iPhone launch.
Like the iPhone launch, like an old Star Wars movie. We have lines. We have a campamento outside the restaurants. We have people waiting and yelling for these beef ribs.
This is so good, Laila. This is awesome. All right. Also, we just finished our Barbecue for Heroes campaign. Earlier in the show, I talked about what was going on. Tell us a little bit more about that and how the campaign finished.
Well, we want to thank all the customers that help us with this campaign. We managed to deliver a total of 550 sandwiches. That it was a big success for us. And we have like a bittersweet thing with ending this campaign, because we would like to keep helping the medical professionals. The COVID's not over. Their work's not over. They're still working super hard. They're more prepared now, but they're still working super hard. But we feel proud of our team. We feel proud of our customers. 33% of those sandwiches were given by Pinche Gringo. So we have to be part of the society and part of the help and part of the solution.
Absolutely. Lila Garcia Mora, I love always this part of the show. Thank you for coming on again. Hope you're doing well, and get those beef ribs at Pinche Gringo, because October 1st, if you forgot, you're going to have to wait another year. Unless there's an finale on it. I don't think that's going to happen.
An important thing, these beef ribs are only sold in our locations. We don't have them available in delivery. This is important because you have to go, you have to talk to them, and you have to choose your rib. So you have to fall in love with them.
Okay. Well, I'm sure people will. So thank you, Lila, for being on the show. That does it for the Pinche Gringo Show. I'm Dan DeFossi. Join us next week. We're going to have a special show. We have some special guests. I wish I could announce it tonight, but I can't. But it's going to be all about registering the vote, the elections. It's going to be a big show. Stay tuned next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Mexico Central Time. Always here. Thank you for joining us tonight. Pinche Gringo. Have a good night.
Pinche Gringo, Mexico is laughing thanks to you. We like to watch you dance salsa and listen to your bad Spanish too. We like to watch you almost die from spicy food.